Hi everybody, hey, this is your host Robert Hebert. Today this is brought to you by nwieducate.com. Today we're talking about an opinion of the human condition. First of all, let's talk about what the human condition is. So I brought my laptop so that I can give you the Wikipedia description of I can give you what my description of the human condition is, but it's important because we talk about concerns about racism. We've dealt with gender equality, racial equality. We've dealt with with religious equality in the past, but we have to go back to basics. I've always talked about, hey, we got to start at square one again. So let's start at square one. Square one is the human condition. Who are we? What are we? Let's see what the definition of human condition is. It's the characteristics, key elements, situations which compose the essentials of human existence, such as birth, growth, emotional, aspiration, conflict, and morality. Now, there are many different versions of this. Everybody's got a perspective. Here I am. The perspectives are psychology, religious. You have a psychological perspective, you have a philosophical perspective, and you also have a religious perspective. So let's talk about, let's start with religion. Each major religion has a definitive belief regarding the human condition. For example, Buddhist teaches the life is perpetual. It's a perpetual cycle of unsatisfactoriness. Boy, doesn't that just sound awesome? Death and rebirth from the humans can be liberated via the Noble Eightfold Path. Woo! All right. Meanwhile, Christianity teaches that humans are born in a sinful condition and are doomed in an afterlife unless they receive salvation through Jesus Christ. All right. Philosophers have provided many perspectives in influential ancients, the Republic and Plato. What is justice, so to speak? I don't want to put you to sleep. Let's go back to basics. What is the human condition? The human condition that I want to talk about is, hey, we're capable of doing horrific things, rape, murder, torture. But on the end of the spectrum, we're also capable of great empathy, great love, all of these compassions. And yet we are always focusing on things that aren't even relevant to what our species is in existence for. We focus on, the color of somebody's skin. This person's that religion. We're nitpicking things that are not defining as us as a species, which is a real good indicator as why we're falling from society. Why is our society in such chaos? We have to start back at square one, and we have to go back to basics. And what does that mean? That means we have to know who we are. We have to identify who I am as a person. How do you do that? Well, we identify ourselves in many different ways. People say, well, I'm a pastor. No, you're not. That's what you do. I'm a doctor. No, you're not. That's just what you do. People define themselves in incorrect ways. I had a gentleman came up to me the other day. He says, well, first thing he said, I have a doctorate. Yeah, what is it? We're talking about, we were literally talking about macaroni and cheese. What does the relevance of him having a doctorate have anything to do with mac and cheese? Figure that one out, people. Send me some emails on that one. But the human condition, what defined him was his education. Is that discrediting? No, not in any way. That's how he copes. But it's a perfect example for me because it even shows that people, no matter what your educational level, no matter what your background or what your history is, what kind of childhood you had, we define ourselves in many, many different ways. And we look at it, they're all artificial. It's not who you are as a person, because you have to define yourself. Who am I? Am I a good person? Am I a bad person? There, you drew the line. I'm a good person. All right, I want to be good. I want to help people. Great. How do you want to help people? What makes you feel good about these things? These are the issues that people should be looking at and defining what their limitations are and what their strengths are. Some people are good with people. Some people aren't. We test the waters and we move forward and address and learn from our life. The whole point of what we're doing here in our network is to try to be better, is to try to understand these key points of the human condition and move forward with ourselves to improve our lives, to improve our being, and improve our society. But the problem is too many people focus on artificial realities that we create within our life. What does that mean? Well, if I'm a doctor and I'm a medical doctor, all I do morning, noon, and night, everything I do is about medicine. Is that a balanced life? You know, I have many friends that are medical doctors. When they're in practice, you are practicing literally 24/7. When you're not on duty, people know you're a doctor, so they're hitting you up for medical advice. They're always trying to pick your brain for it. So you never have time because you don't have balance. And the same thing if you're a pastor. I know many people that are ministries of many different faiths, and they are constantly being pulled to hospitals, to churches, to all of to homes for people in grieving or people who have situations of inspirational need. So your lives are being encompassed by your job, and it leaves you identityless. You don't have a chance to identify who you truly are because your job has chosen your life for you. Therefore, you live a life without balance. You live a life without quality. You know, I know I think too much. I've been accused many times. But the problem I have is we need thinkers in the world. We need to break things down. Not everything is a number one with a Coke. Supersize me. Not everything can be given to you in a Cliff Note version. We have to identify who we are so that we can establish the basics and move forward step by step so that we can improve the quality and the betterment, the self-betterment of our lives. So what do? What you do as a job does not define who you are as a person. Recognize that. But how do you recognize what you are as a person? You know, what I do is to recognize this person. You have to draw the lines. You have to ask yourself, what makes you happy? Who makes you happy? You know, there was a, you know, within thinkers, there is a misnomer or a myth that the more friends you have, the less quality of life you have because you're not focusing on your goals, you're focusing on keeping all of your friends happy, keeping time occupied. So the fewer friends you have, the more concentrated your friendships that you have, the more quality that you have, the more quality of life you have because now you can start focusing on improving the condition, the human condition of your life. Mind, body, spirit, spirit, mind, body. It's all about centering. It's all about the balance. And I have to break it out and put this to you in pondering questions. And these questions have to be, who are you? Who do you want to be? You know, why do you want to be that? We have so many people that come to us and they constantly contradict themselves. Many people do this. Not just one person. It's 8 out of 10 people contradict themselves. You know, I work for a living. Well, great. So does pretty much everybody else. What does that have to do with the cost of tea in China? But you know, we don't talk about effective development. And when we're here at NWI Educate, we're focusing on the betterment of your health, the betterment of your business. You're making better business decisions, balancing a checkbook, making credit decisions. You can't do any of these things unless you have 33 1/3, equal balance of all of the spirit, mind, and body. You have to have a good relationship with God in order to have a clear mind and a good conscience. And if you do that, you're accepting and you're more open to making better decisions. It's the difference between being fixed-minded and growth-minded. What is the difference between a fixed-minded person and a growth-minded person? Well, there's no difference between a millionaire and a person on welfare with exception to the way you think. Too many people that have nothing, and it's not the wealth and substance that you have in life doesn't define your success. The way you think defines your success. A teacher can strive to be the best teacher and reach all of these lives and change all of these lives. They may not have $1 million at the end of their life, but they have changed the lives of hundreds, if not thousands of people for the better. So they have a successful life. But they recognize that, which is why they chose that profession. It's the people that are doing these things that don't recognize the value added of what they do in their life. And those are the people that we're trying to reach, to try to bring in, to take that fixed-minded, sit you down for a few minutes, and hopefully open your mind to be opportunistic, to be a better person, to open your mind to learn new things. And by doing that, by being open to new ideas, new concepts, you're opening your mind to a bigger and better world out there. Whereas accepting, I know everything there is to know, getting up every day, doing the bare minimum you have to do to get through the day, if that's quality to you, well, power to you. And I wish you the best. But most people pass through life, and few people make a difference in it. And I have to ask you, don't you want to make a difference in life, in your life? When you look back at your life when you're on your deathbed as a carpenter and say, what have I built? Are you surrounded by friends and family? Do you have a lifetime of happiness and joy in your heart? Or are you sitting in an empty room that doesn't have the lights on because you're not able to get over there to turn them on? What is your life? What is your quality of life? It's up to you if you want that. But I implore you to engage in bettering your life in so many different ways, in spirit, in mind, and body. I just wanted to ponder the question. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again. I'm your host, Robert Hebert. This is brought to you again by NWI Educate. This show is Thinkers. You have a great day, and thank you so much.